Hello everyone, and welcome to the February webinar as part of Coaches Across Continents' new virtual learning community. Welcome everyone, we're very happy to have you today. My name is Adam Burgess and I am the Sustainability Strategist for Coaches Across Continents. Just a few technical details before we get started. If you didn't attend the January session, if you look on your screen just now in the bottom left, there are a number of buttons which you can press at any point. The one in the far bottom left is you can expand your screen. The next button along, you can take a screenshot at any time of the screen. You can also switch your webcam on or off, and you can also raise your hand at any point. Now you can make comments during the webinar, however we would advise you to actually wait and ask questions towards the end when there will be a question and answer session and we can properly get to them. So today we're going to be discussing International Women's Day, and we're going to be discussing Ask for Choice. International Women's Day is coming up on March the 8th, so we'd like to prepare some of you for that. And we have a very special guest who will be discussing Ask for Choice and International Women's Day. Many of you already have met her. She's one of our most experienced and well-travelled self-directed learning coaches. So I'm pleased to present to everyone Nora Dooley. Nora, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. All right. Hello, everybody. Some of you may know me. You may have met me out in the field somewhere in the world. Others might not know me, and I hope that we get to meet someday soon. But yes, as Adam said, we will be discussing two important things today. First, we will talk about Ask for Choice, and then we will discuss International Women's Day, and we will go through our games that we have to share with you. Before we get started with all of that, though, we would like to ask a question to involve everybody. So we have this poll question set up. You will see something pop up onto your screen very soon, and you will have a choice of how to answer this question: who won the last World Cup? So let's get started. You'll have 20 seconds to answer this question, and here we go. Who won the last World Cup? Take 20 seconds, think about it, make your answer. There are some different answers that people have been giving us. We had a VLC last night as well, last night for me at least in the US. We got some interesting answers, so we'll see what you say today, and we will share the results with everybody. All right, take another 5 seconds. I will answer as well. All right. I'm going to publish the results so you will see our answers on the screen. We've got 5 who said Germany, and we have 3 who said USA. So this is very interesting. I wonder if anyone knows why some people said USA and why some people said Germany. Since I'm the only one who is speaking right now, I will share what I think. So Germany is the winners of the last Men's World Cup, and the United States are the winners of the last Women's World Cup. And this was sort of a trick question, since the last World Cup was the Women's World Cup. The correct answer technically is the United States of America. So this is a good question. We can X out of that poll question and we'll move on. But this is an interesting question for us to ask in order to begin talking about Ask for Choice. Because when so many people, when they hear World Cup, they usually automatically think Men's World Cup. And this is one of the attitudes towards sport and towards women and girls playing sports that we are looking to develop and change. Why can't we think Women's World Cup when we hear football, when we hear World Cup? So with that being said, let's dive into Ask for Choice. So first I will just go through our kind of definition of Ask for Choice, and then we'll break it down and discuss what that means for you as our partners. So Ask for Choice, our new female empowerment initiative, creates safe spaces for the progression of attitudes towards education and gender roles, the development of skills for female leadership and problem solving, and the increase in knowledge of gender policies. This will lead to educational, girls' and women's rights, employment, entrepreneurial, financial, and health choices. And Ask for Choice enhances personal and community responsibility and produces locally owned and relevant gender equity initiatives. CAC's strategic year-round mentorship on curriculum and policy development will bring gender policies to life throughout communities by generating pathways to advance women's participation, leadership, and rights in and through sport. All right, so that may sound a little bit complex and definitely is ambitious. So let's break it down a little bit and discuss how do we do this, because it's difficult and it's going to be a challenge, but it is going to be a very fun challenge. So the question is, how do we make this come to life? How do we make this come alive? And we'll start with our favorite thing, which is curriculum, our on-field portion of Ask for Choice, which is only a part of our work, but it's an important part, and it's a fun part, and it's a part that involves you. So our curriculum. Ask for Choice is a separate program from what our partners have seen over the past 8 years. That program is called Chance to Choice. That curriculum is Chance to Choice. So when I say Chance to Choice, I'm referring to the Martas, the Ronaldos, the Messis, Hope Solos, Wambach. Those games are in Chance to Choice. Ask for Choice will be completely separate, and it is a new curriculum developed after 8 years of experience in CAC Sport for Gender Equity programs, added on to decades of experience in girls' and women's rights advocacy. So some of the Ask for Choice games we piloted last year, so maybe some of you have seen them, and those games will make up the bulk of the Ask for Choice training. We will always have games like Circle of Friends, Mingle, those 95% football. Those games, our bonus games, will always be in whatever training Coaches Across Continents is running. But in terms of the Ask for Choice curriculum, the games are broken down by country instead of by player. So I will explain that a little bit more. So in the Ask for Choice curriculum, we have different modules. One is techniques. So those are the heading, the dribbling, the passing, the shooting, the goalkeeping. Another is attitudes, skills, knowledge, hence ask. So attitudes, skills, knowledge, and then choice. So each country will have 5 games in the curriculum. Let me give you an example. If we have India, India techniques will be India 1, India 2, and India 3. And those are actually goalkeeping techniques in the curriculum, so there's a sneak peek. And then there will also be India for attitudes, India for skills, India for knowledge, and India for choice. And those are all different games. And the same will go for every country that we have in the curriculum. The first year is only 5 countries. Each year will be 5 countries. So the first year we have USA, Brazil, Rwanda, India, and Indonesia. The second year we will have Haiti, South Africa, Colombia, other countries. The third year, other countries. So we've tried to include as many of our partner countries as possible. So with the purpose of having countries instead of players is to share the realities for women and girls around the world. We will be sharing facts throughout the sessions on the field. And these facts will be about what women are going through, what policies are in place, and what is the reality for women around the world. We will also be doing research, and we are currently doing that right now. We already have a lot in place. Research on those facts locally, so that we can also share, if we're on the field in Haiti or if we're on the field in South Africa, we can share some of the statistics for those countries where we are working, as well as the international facts. Hopefully this is making a little bit of sense, but to clarify further, I'll give you an example. So if we stick with India, if we stick with India, we have a fact that says about selective abortions in India. So selective abortions might not happen all over the world, but they're one of the biggest problems in India because girls aren't being born. Families are choosing to abort the girl child rather than give birth to a girl who is not valued as much in society. So even if this is not directly relevant to all of the countries that we are working in, we can start a discussion. Maybe we ask, why would women and girls not be as valued in a society? And then maybe we can find similarities to discuss on the field with whatever group we are with. So that's one example of the facts, and we have many others. So hopefully that makes sense. And then moving on, a key part of Ask for Choice will be our women's rights policy session. This will be similar to the child's rights policy that we've been implementing for 2 years, but of course with different contents. And this will be detailed, as it says on the screen, in the next VLC. So come back next month and you'll learn more about the women's rights policy. Another key part of this will be research. I mentioned the research a little earlier. We have a law firm that we are partnering with called Hogan Levels that is helping us with in-depth research on gender policies that are currently in place in the countries that we work in, but are filed away and are not doing anything to serve the women and girls they're supposed to be serving. Also, policies that exist that make it legal to discriminate. In many countries in the world, there is legal discrimination against women and girls. And then also policies that just don't exist at all, and that maybe in the future we will have an ability and opportunity to work together with you, our partners, and change in the future. So, and implement and put into place. So that's exciting. Hopefully you feel excited about that as well. Year-round support will be a huge part of Ask for Choice. And we have a few different ways of ideas right now of how we can support you all year-round and the Ask for Choice programs year-round. And this also goes for Chance to Choice, just for CAC in general. But specific for Ask for Choice, we have launched a Facebook group it's a private Facebook group, and after each Ask for Choice training, we will invite the participants to join the Facebook group to continue the conversation. We find that in most of the countries we work, all of our coaches and often also the players have a phone with Facebook on it. Whatever else they have in life, they have a phone and they have Facebook on it and they can get onto Facebook. So we decided to take advantage of that and see how many people we can get involved online with the Facebook group. Different languages, hopefully Facebook can translate for us, but different languages, different cultures, different backgrounds, to continue sharing these realities for women and girls, the stories for women and girls, and what we can do to involve men, to involve the boys, and work towards gender equity. So we're really excited about that. And now you see OEP, VLC, CIC. What do all those mean? I'm sure some of you know, some of you are participants in some of those programs. But when it comes to Ask for Choice with the online education program, OEP, we would love to get more females involved. With the VLC, with this, we would love to get as many of our Ask for Choice partners, as many of the participants, the ones that are capable with internet and with language, to participate. With CIC, Community Impact Coach, right now we have mostly males in our Community Impact Coach program. So we will definitely be looking in Ask for Choice to see how we can get more women involved. And then local networking opportunities. We are doing research as well with our communities that we work in, looking at different women's organizations, women's rights groups, women's health groups, human rights groups, about how we can connect them with you, our partners, and work together towards some of our objectives with Ask for Choice. Also excited about that. And then finally, innovative monitoring and evaluation. As always with our work, the most difficult part is measuring. It's very difficult for us, and I know a lot of you go through some of the similar challenges with how do we measure the impact that we are making. How do we measure smiles? How do we measure confidence? How do we measure laughter? And so we're going to be looking for and ask for choice to figure out how we can measure all of these things that we want to achieve, and working with you to figure out how best to do it. And most importantly, we want to broadcast the stories, with their permission, but the stories of the amazing women that we work with all over the world, the amazing coaches, the amazing participants. So those are some of the goals that we have for Ask for Choice, and that's some of the vision of how we want to bring Ask for Choice to life. As difficult as it sounds, but again, we think it will be very fun, and we've started it in Haiti earlier this year in January, and it was a start, and it's still a learning process, but it was amazing, and I'll share a little bit about that later on. All right, let's take another break from just my voice, although I'll still be talking, but you can get a little more involved now. We're going to do another poll question. This one's a little bit more serious, so soon the question box will pop up onto your screen again, but you can have a think. What is the biggest challenge facing women and girls today? So here we will start the poll. You have 20 seconds. You can decide what you think is the biggest challenge facing women and girls today. I understand some of you might want to choose more than one. Try to pick the one that you feel most strongly about, and we will share the results with everybody to see what you say. It's anonymous, of course, so no one will see what you chose. I will choose as well. See if I picked the same one as I picked last night. All right. A few more seconds. Interesting, the choices we are picking compared to last night. Very interesting. All right, we will finish, and I will publish the results so everybody can see. All right, hopefully you can see that graph. If you scroll over it, you can see which portion of the pie chart is which response. So we can see the cultural norms had the most responses, 58%, lack of education, 33%, and male attitudes, just 8%. So one person said male attitudes. Okay, so this can obviously lead to a big discussion that I would rather have more people involved in than just my voice. So I'm glad that we did that, so we can start thinking about this, and this will lead us. We can X out of that graph, and we'll move on to the next portion. So we asked that question for several different reasons, but one is that we understand with our work that the places we work in, the communities we work in, the partners that we have are all different. So where some of you might say male attitudes, others cultural norms, others lack of education, and I'm sure other people, other communities would say different things. Often some of those answers are universal. And we can point to any of those and say that all over the world, girls don't have access to the same education as boys, or the same sports opportunities, or all over the world male attitudes or cultural norms are interfering with girls and women's rights. But it will be different everywhere. So with Ask for Choice, we want to make sure that your voices and your needs are the most prominent. And we hope we do that already with our work with you. But with Ask for Choice, as you see on screen, you have a choice. And you're already part of the movement because of all the work that we've been doing thus far with you and with gender equity. But with Ask for Choice, as we go deeper and as we focus more on female empowerment and gender equity, there are going to be different levels of involvement. Some of you will maybe only choose to stick with chance to choice, what our regular program is, and that's perfectly fine. If Ask for Choice is something that you feel passionate about, if you choose, there are different ways that you can get involved. Some of you can hold trainings with Ask for Choice trainings, and then that will be it. Some of you will have year-round involvement with deeper monitoring and evaluation and more communication with us. We understand the different abilities and different capacities of organizations. So we want to make sure that you feel like your needs are being met and respected. If you do choose to hold an Ask for Choice training, we'll talk a little bit about what that looks like now with some different ideas, but this will be a key conversation moving forward about how we can make it work for you on the field in your community during the program. So I'll share a little bit right now. Some programs are looking at doing a morning and an afternoon split. So the morning, Chance to Choice, regular program. Those are the Ronaldos and Martas and Messis and Wilshires and Wambachs. In the afternoon, the Ask for Choice training, or vice versa, of course. Other partners are looking to do an extension of the partnership. So say they finished 3 or more years, and it's their 4th or 5th or 6th year with CAC. Now they're looking to shift to Ask for Choice. So it will be an all Ask for Choice training at that program if you choose. Others are looking to balance the two in different ways, and I can give a couple of examples that we already had in Haiti this year. With one of our partners, Goals Haiti, it was our 4th year with them, but it was a little bit last minute, the planning, so we didn't want to exclude the men. That's of course not the goal. So it was an all Ask for Choice training in the first year of Ask for Choice that will usually be an all-female training, but to accommodate the last minute circumstances and also to accommodate the needs of Goals Haiti, what we did was each day the women would arrive at 8 a.m. and the men would arrive at 9 a.m. So we had an hour each morning of only females, and then we had 2 to 3 hours of mixed group. And that created an incredible dynamic for the week, and one in which the women, because they had that time just with each other in the mornings, it was very clear how their confidence came through. And they discussed how do we talk to men about what we're going through as women. And then they had an opportunity to do that in the safe space of the training. And what ended up happening was when we did the women's rights session, the Haitian women, the Goals Haiti women, led it with the men, and we just sat and we listened, and that was really, really powerful. So that's another option of splitting time a little bit to make it work. So that is an option for groups that maybe don't have as many women or don't think they can bring as many women to a training. We can find a way to split, as long as if you choose and if you agree, we try to get as much face time as possible with an all-female group. Maybe some of you are wondering, why an all-female group? Maybe not. Maybe you all understand and have your own kind of understanding of why that's important. But in terms of the Ask for Choice partnership pathway, Ask for Choice will be a 3-year partnership. And the first year, we envision it being all-female training. Second year, male and female. Third year, open to the community. With the all-female training, we have learned over our many years of experience, as some of us as women and girls, others as experience working in gender equity, that when we have a space where women can voice their opinions with just other women, it is a very different dynamic than when it's a mixed gender group. And I'm sure the same would be if it was just men without women there. There's just a different group dynamic. The goal is gender equity. It's not to have women having more power than men. That is absolutely not the goal. But because of the realities of the world today, it is a male-dominated world, and there is no country that has full gender equity. So we recognize that, and we recognize the need to focus specifically on the needs of women and girls, talk to them, allow them the safety and comfort to raise their voices together, talk about solutions, and then we bring it into the community. Hopefully that makes sense for everybody. At the end of this session, if you have any questions about that, feel free to ask during the Q&A session. All right, and then lastly with M&E, we will talk about some of the specific ideas with you, but the most important point with M&E is that the processes will be co-designed with you. So we will offer our input and our ideas, and maybe we can share, oh, this group in Colombia did this, and maybe this will work for you in Kenya, or this group in Uganda did this. Maybe it will work for you in Cameroon or in Nepal, wherever you are. So what we want is your voices. I will say that again. What we want is your voices and your ideas and your input in this program. Sorry if you can hear that phone. So let's move on to the next portion, which Adam will come in and take over for the video.
Thanks, Nora. We're going to give Nora's voice a little bit of a rest for a minute or two because she's been talking for quite a while. We have a very special, as Nora mentioned, short film about Ask for Choice, which we'd like to share with you. Some of you may have seen this before, but we actually will be sending this out to a wider audience later on today. So you guys are going to be enjoying pretty much an exclusive look at this Ask for Choice video, filmed last year at our partner Malaika in the Democratic Republic of Congo. So, without further ado, here is our Ask for Choice documentary.
Women's and girls' rights are violated daily. Gender discrimination affects all aspects of women's and girls' lives, including their participation in sport. Where laws and policies exist, they are frequently not enforced. Coaches across continents know that women have a right to be heard. And we believe in the capacity of sport to achieve that social impact. Based on our extensive monitoring and evaluation, Ask for Choice is an exciting new community intervention aimed at generating social change.
You know, sport has not always been seen in a very good way in Africa. It was sport for men, and now after the new generation, we can get the safety training, and they become stronger women in force.
Through Ask for Choice, coaches across continents will create an environment for the progression of attitudes towards education and gender roles, the development of skills for female leadership and problem solving, and the increase in knowledge of gender policies.
How does that feel when you're told you can't play? You're a girl, you're not good enough. It hurts. But it still happens.
This will lead to educational, women's and girls' rights, employment, financial, entrepreneurial, and health choices.
I think the CSC program gives confidence to women. It is build their self-esteem. They are challenging every time. They want now to learn to win.
Ask for Choice will enhance personal and community responsibility and produce locally owned and relevant gender equity initiatives.
So she says that she's very sad because many girls just think about marriage instead of thinking about sport, instead of developing their own lives.
Solve your problem!
I am Divina. I ask for choice.
The program will create safe spaces to question harmful religious, traditional, and cultural practices. Ask for Choice will impact over 1 million children and influence local and national policies for women and girls. Coaches across continents' strategic year-round mentorship on curriculum and policy development will bring gender policies to life.
We don't have to think that way. We can change that. She ran like herself. She didn't run like a woman is supposed to run.
Communities will generate pathways to advance women's participation, leadership, and rights in and through sport. We are coaches across continents, and we ask for choice.
Great, okay. Hopefully you all were able to see that video and heard the video. If you didn't, if it was choppy or anything like that, we will be sending it out to everyone following the webinar. So don't worry if you didn't quite catch it, you will be able to get a copy of it. As you can see from the video, Ask for Choice has the potential to be an incredible game changer for gender equity all over the world. So we're really excited about its potential. So with that, I'm going to pass it back to Nora, who can start back up again.
Great. Thank you, Adam. Yes, hopefully you all enjoyed that. I always enjoy watching that video. It's a great one. So here is the agenda for the remainder of this session. Hopefully everybody is comfortable. And so first we will go through the International Women's Day packet. Then we will share ideas for some International Women's Day activities brought to us by all of our partners over the past years. Then we will discuss the next steps for both International Women's Day and Ask for Choice, some of the next steps, and then we'll have the Q&A session. So again, save your questions for the end, and then you can have free reign and ask us whatever you want. So let's start going through the packet. So what we're going to do is bring the packet up onto your screen, and if you haven't already done so, you can make the screen bigger so that it's a little bit more clear. We won't read through every single word, then we would be here all day. But we will go through the games, and I will kind of talk about the games, and then you can ask any specific questions that you have that the packet does not detail. So what you see on the front is some facts about women all over the world, information about International Women's Day, and a bit more about Ask for Choice, which you have all seen already. So I'll move on. Table of contents, pretty self-explanatory, hopefully. Directions on using the packet. And here we have our first game. All right, so Safe Circle. Several of these games, most of these games, are adaptations of games we currently have in either our Chance to Choice or Ask for Choice curriculum. So if you recognize something on the screen, that is why. So this game is a great game to warm up. As you see, I can use the pointer. As you see, we have two circles, one circle on the outside and the partners on the inside. This game is played where the partner on the inside stands still and the partner on the outside is the one that starts to move. And before you start the game, you can ask the group about safe spaces for women and girls. So maybe they say school or football field. And when you yell school, they will run in one direction. When you yell football field, they will run in the other direction. Start with this game. Hang on, water. Thank you. With this game, it's very key to start slowly. If you give them 5 different movements with 5 different safe spaces, that gets a little bit complicated. So start small, start simple, and build from there. So each safe space that they say will be assigned a new movement. And as the coach, they can decide skipping, jumping, spinning, zigzagging, crawling, animal sounds is a personal favorite, but anything you want to do there. Just a quick point before we move on about discussing safe spaces. If you ask the group, which hopefully you will ask the group what they identify as safe spaces in their community for women and girls, and somebody says home, or somebody says school, or somebody says the sports field, or church, or wherever else they say, make sure that we recognize and we acknowledge that home is not necessarily safe for everybody. The same thing with each safe space. School, police station, church, football field. Not safe for every single person, right? The person makes a space safe. So if there's a person in one of those spaces making it unsafe, that is a reality we have to appreciate and respect and acknowledge. But also we can discuss with the group, how can we choose our personal safe spaces? Where can we identify what's safe for us, not necessarily what is safe for the person next to us. So that's just a quick little coaching point there. But otherwise, this game is really fun, high energy. Make sure you switch who's on the inside and who's on the outside so that we can get everybody moving and warmed up. And if you want, you can have more of a deep discussion about safe spaces for women and why a space might be safe for a man but not safe for a woman. That could lead to a very interesting conversation. You can also adapt it to, instead of talking about safe spaces, each movement can be paired with a different women's right or other ideas that I'm sure you can all think of as you're more creative than any of us. Great. Moving on. Overcoming discrimination. Another game adapted from our curriculum. This one's Hope Solo for gender equity. So we can see that it's a game of tag. And in that space, we have taggers and we have people that they are chasing. So in this game, you can ask the group, what are examples of things in life, things in the community that discriminate against women and girls or oppress women and girls or take away their power, make them feel small. And we demonstrate that with a very physical aspect of the game where the person who is tagged moves down to the ground. So now it's a visual of they've been made smaller by the thing that discriminates against them or the thing that oppresses them. So that's the first round of the game, and we want that visual to be as clear as possible. So instead of introducing another element right away, we play with only that, and then at the end of this round, we see that everyone, or most of the people, have been brought to the ground, have been tagged, and then we can see what happens when we have a community filled with discrimination and oppression and stereotypes, or whatever else the group said. The next round, any player has the opportunity, has the ability to bring somebody back into the game, lift somebody off the ground with words. And those can be things that empower women and girls or anything that they like or that makes them feel good. So it can be the person, as you see here, can be the person saying education. And now this person can come and play again, and you can tag or something simple. You can tag them, say education, and they're back into the game. Another idea is if this player runs up to this player and asks, what empowers you? Because maybe it's something different. And then that gives them the voice, and now they're back into the game. Of course, as always with tag games, we want to make sure they're taking a break. So tag games present a great opportunity to pause in the middle of the two progressions, discuss a little bit, and then play again. Give them a break physically, and then also use that as an opportunity to have a discussion. And make sure we're changing the taggers and giving different people a chance to play different roles. So as you see here, there are different instructions, different discussion questions, and again, these are only guidelines. You can do whatever you want within this framework, and you can, of course, create your own games based on all of this or based on our work together in the past. These are just ideas. Next game, Empower the Community. So this game is a game of football. This is the first game that we have now with a ball. We have two teams, as you see, and each team has 3 goals to defend and 3 goals to attack. Each goal will have a word or something associated with that goal. So the examples that we have here are things that empower women and girls. As you see, there is a theme for International Women's Day. And this is empower the community. So right to play, education, employment. So here's the game. I love this game. 2 teams, 1 ball. Everyone begins the game walking. If this player has the ball and they score, say they hit a great shot and they score a goal, now only this player can run. And we see what happens over the course of the game. Sometimes this player, as the only one now running, might choose to just keep scoring goals. And yeah, maybe they win, maybe the score is there, but what happens to all of these players? They're only walking still. So it's interesting to see what the players choose to do with their power, with what has empowered them. Are they going to share the right to play, education, and employment with their teammates, or do they just keep it for themselves? So that's an interesting thing that you can use either as a discussion point or as praise. Say this player decides to pass the ball and get everybody else involved, and now they have a whole team, a whole community that is empowered and playing, and you see what happens. This game we played in just to share a fun little anecdote. We played this game recently in Njombe, Tanzania, and they loved it so much that at the end of the game, we had been playing for a while, and we had discussed everything, and at the end of the game, instead of moving on to the next or taking a break, they wanted to just keep playing. So they were having a lot of fun with this. And they wanted to try different strategies of getting everybody running. So that was pretty cool. And again, you have different ideas for variations, playing with the hands and the feet. So that's always a great option. And then some sample discussion questions. But again, ask the questions that are relevant to the group. Always ask the questions that are most relevant to the group, but these can be guidelines. That's that. All right, places for equality. This is another great warm-up game. And this can be played, you see in the diagram that there are balls there's one ball per player. We understand that that is a rare luxury, that people have enough footballs for, excuse me, enough footballs for each player. So, excuse me, sorry. So this game can be played either with a ball per player or with absolutely no equipment. You don't need cones, you don't need balls, you don't even need to delineate a space like this. What you can do is very simply have a group of players, and you're the coach, and ask them, where is a place in your community, or maybe start with 2 places, where are 2 places where boys and girls should be equal? Say for example, they say at home, and they say at work. Okay, so boys and girls, men and women should be equal at home and at work. Assign a movement to each of those places. So when you say home, they have to do jumping jacks. When you say at work, they have to spin around 3 times. So you can say 2 jumping jacks for home, 3 spins for work. And now they're jogging around in the space. You call out home. They have to perform the corresponding movement. When you say work, they have to perform the corresponding movement. Again, similar to Safe Circle, start simple and then build and add more places as you go. Don't start with 5 that they have to remember right away, because I don't know who would succeed in that. And as you go, it gets more and more difficult. There's more concentration. There are more movements, so you can do physical movements or you can do fun movements depending on your group's needs, or you can balance the 2, such as push-ups, lunges, squats, or clapping, a funny movement, anything, jumping. You can change it up there. And as you go, as you get more and more difficult, if you choose, you can make it a competition. So if you want, you can decide that if you make a mistake, so for example, if I do a jumping jack for work when that was supposed to be for home, then I am eliminated. You don't have to do it as a competition, but if you do want to do that, sometimes that is more fun for a group when there's a little bit on the line. But otherwise, you can just continue and have fun with it. And again, this is open to much adaptation. There are many different possibilities with this, and we have here a second progression that if you do have a ball per player, go for it. And instead of the physical movements, you can do skills with the ball. So when you say home, they have to do a double step over. And when you say work, they have to do 3 juggles, things like that. But if you don't, which most people do not have a ball for every person, you can lay out equipment like this, cones and balls spread out. So when I say home, they go to the cone and they do a double step over. When I say work, they go and they do toe touches. So a kind of different level of movement, and it changes the game a little bit. Again, variation listed, discussion questions listed. Hopefully that is clear. Another little anecdote from the field. When we played this game in South Africa with Training for Changes, we asked the group, where should boys and girls, men and women be equal in your community? And the first immediate answer was everywhere. So that was fantastic. We love that answer because that is an objective, that we want equity everywhere. The reason that we specify is that we can isolate the situations and talk about why aren't women and men currently equal at home? Why aren't women and men currently equal at work? And what can we do in those places in our community to move towards gender equity. But I love that. I love that little fact because yes, everywhere is the goal. All right, last game for International Women's Day packets. Most of our partners have played this game. It is also called Marta for Fun, and this packet is called Play Together. There are many, many different ways to organize this game. The example here is a 6 versus 6 tournament, which can be very fun for an event day like International Women's Day. But it can also be played on a full field. It can be played, even smaller than this. However you choose, there is only one rule to this game, and that rule is that a boy and a girl must touch the ball on the same team, must touch the ball before you score a goal. Very, very simple rule that sometimes becomes much more complicated. And I'll share just a little bit there. The reason it sometimes becomes more complicated is because girls have not had the same opportunities as boys to play football and to play sports. Often it feels like a burden to have to pass to a girl before you score. So first coaching point, make sure you're not saying you must pass to a girl before you score, because right away, as a woman, that makes me feel singled out. That makes me feel like the pressure, the weight of the world, of the women's world is on my shoulders, and if I make a mistake, that's it. So make sure that you're not singling out the girls. I know sometimes we want to make them feel special. We want to, make them say, the girl must have the last pass, or the girl has the ability to score here. But again, as a girl, as a woman, that makes me feel like I'm already starting from somewhere below the men and boys. Like, why do I need to be singled out and given this opportunity? So, especially with kids, we want to make sure our language is as equal as possible. A girl and a boy must touch the ball before you score. And just to share one more little fun story from the field, in Peru, 2 years ago, and we started 2 years ago in Peru, one of our partners called Escuela de Fútbol Femenino, our partners with UNICEF, they had a women's football team, a girls' football team, young women. And they were so good. They were so good at football. And when we played this game, they didn't want to pass to the boys. So we had to have a gender equity conversation in this context of making sure that they passed to the boys and the grown men that we were coaching to score a goal. So that was an interesting example of how the stereotype can be completely different from what we're used to. Okay, hopefully everybody is clear on those games, and if you aren't, if you have any questions, you can ask in the Q&A, or you can ask at any point, email us, chat with us on Facebook. At any point, you can feel free to ask questions about those games. Once more, I will say that they are only guidelines, and you can adapt, change, create as much as you want. The final page is just a little bit more information, how to contact us, and when you receive the packet, my email will also be on there, and you will also get it in the next couple of slides. You'll see my email, and then the most important thing is that we want to see what you do. We want you to share with us your photos, your videos, your stories, pictures, everything. We want to see them, and then we will share them on our platforms, on our website, on Twitter, on Facebook. Just to promote your amazing work, because that's all that we have. So please share with us. And any other way that we can help you, please let us know. More information you see down here as well. All right, let's move on to ideas. This won't take too long, and then soon we will move. Just looking at time, we will transition to the questions. So just quickly, I'll share a few ideas that we have seen our partners do over the years as we've been celebrating International Women's Day for a while now. Many groups choose to host tournaments, sometimes for only female players, which is interesting because often we see tournaments are reserved for boys. So interesting to see an all-female football tournament. Mixed gender is also a really cool idea of having teams play against each other that are both mixed gender teams. That's always fun. playing the games, playing, other than just the International Women's Day, whatever games that we have shared with you over the years, any gender equity games, any Ask for Choice games, feel free to use those, and also continue to encourage and challenge yourself with creating your own that will be most relevant to the players and group you're working with. Invite parents, invite adults, invite the community to take part in the session. Often we find that sometimes it is the parents, and more specifically the mothers, who are obstacles for girls playing sports. There are various factors in this, one being cultural norms that some of you answered earlier as one of the biggest challenges. So you understand that the culture and these traditions are obstacles for the girls. So invite the parents, have them learn, have them play. We've had 80-year-olds playing our games, so there's definitely no excuse there. So invite them, have fun with them, and allow them to see how much fun and the benefits there are for their children to take part in these activities with you. Performances, singing, dancing, always mixing that with football, that's always great. Bringing in a women's rights or health organization to give a talk. Maybe it's a women's health organization talking about family planning or reproductive health or menstruation. That's something that is not often talked about in some communities, even most cultures. It's just kind of taboo. So it's interesting to see if we can break those social norms as well. Or a women's rights group to come in and talk to either just your team or your community, whatever you choose. So those are just a few ideas, and they all came from our partners. So I'm sure some of you have done some of those things already. Some of you have other ideas. We can't wait to hear about them. We can't wait to see the pictures and the videos. So again, please share with us. Let's move on. I think next steps. Okay, just really quick, ask us questions. Ask us questions about Ask for Choice, about International Women's Day, and then moving forward about anything. We love questions. That is a key part of our work, and it's a key part of our supporting you. Think about how you want to ask for choice in your community. It will be up to you to decide what that looks like. We don't know, as with everything, we don't know what you need. We don't know what will be best for your community. But you can share with us, and then we can work together to co-design the curriculum, co-design the content, the discussions, the facts that we share, the M&E processes, all of that stuff we want to work with you to design. So please be open with us to, if you choose to be part of Ask for Choice, be open to working with us on all of that. And then with Ask for Choice as well, International Women's Day is a fantastic place to start. So if you do want to be part of Ask for Choice, you can already start thinking of you can identify on International Women's Day some of the challenges that you see or some of the successes already. And again, we want to hear about it all. So there's my email, and I'll share that with you again, and some of you probably already have that. But let's move on now. Take the last few minutes to answer any of your questions, and you'll see my prompts, especially the third one, the amazing Barcelona victory yesterday. So if anyone wants to ask how amazing that was, I'm happy to tell you. All right, so if you have any questions, feel free to just type it into the chat, and then I will answer it to the group. One question, okay, we have, how do we get the International Women's Day packet? And that's a great question. So instead of just emailing it out to all of our partners, we're doing it a little different so we can get some information from you as well. And it's really quick. All you will have to do, and this will be in a blog post as well, so you'll see that soon. All you will have to do is email me with, if you do have an idea already for International Women's Day, go ahead and share that. But if not, all you have to do is say that you want the packet and how many girls and boys you impact through your organization, or that you expect to impact, you estimate to impact with International Women's Day activities. So hopefully that's clear. All you have to do, again, email me, give me some information, and then you'll get the packet. Some of you already might have been very clever and taken the screenshots of all the games. That would have been very, very smart. Solve your problem. Okay, we've got another question. Can we encourage other local partners to request the International Women's Day packets from us? Absolutely. So this packet is open to anybody, and all they have to do is, again, provide us with their information, especially when it's not one of our partners. We'll need a little bit more information from them just so that we can track, and then, yes, we can share with anybody. But if possible, I'm glad you phrased that question that way, because if possible, we would like them to come to us for the packet instead of you guys just sharing it with other groups. So, yes, absolutely. I'm seeing some comments about Arsenal supporters that are not happy with my supporting Barcelona. Sorry about that. All right. Any more questions from anybody? Some people like the game names. That's good. Maybe that was somebody who thought of some of them. All right. Doesn't look like we have any more questions. And if you do have any more questions, as always, you can email us. Again, you can see I can go back to my email if you don't have it right there. Otherwise, thank you so much for participating in this webinar. I look forward to working with, if not all of you, most of you on the field somewhere in the near future with Ask for Choice. We're really excited about it. So thank you for listening to my voice. I'm going to rest it now and allow Adam to take over. Here you go, Adam.
Thanks, Nora. Just finishing up now. First of all, I think we need to say thank you very much to Nora for doing an incredible job on this Ask webinar. And of course, thanks to all of you for participating in the webinar. We will, like I said before, we will be sending you the video for this webinar. So if you missed anything, we will send you the video. And if you have any other questions, or if you have anything else that you would like to ask from us, then please feel free to get in touch. Just quickly before we go, we're going to do one last short poll, a fun poll to say goodbye. So here we go. Let's see, we'll give you 20 seconds to answer this question. Who's going to win 2016 UEFA Champions League? There's a number of different options here. Since Nora is such a big Barcelona supporter, I think nobody else can vote for Barcelona. Okay, wow, getting plenty of votes in. Okay, here we go. We're going to publish the results. You didn't listen to me. So we've got 8 votes for Barcelona. 2 for Bayern, 1 for Middlesbrough, I'm not sure who that was. 1 for Paris Saint-Germain and 1 for Real Madrid. Interesting. Okay, well, maybe Nora will be quite happy in May then. Alright, so with that we're going to finish our webinar for today. Thank you again for everyone for participating, and thanks again to Nora for doing an amazing job. We will speak to you all soon, and thank you again. Goodbye.